Hello, everyone of the sign of Aquarius. We are here today to give you your message for October 2025. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to start off with a little oracle with the astrology that's happening in the month, and then I'm going to pull some tarot for additional clarifications. Let me ring my bell real quick. I had a heavy reading a little bit ago, so I'm just clearing out the air. So first thing we're going to look out for is Mercury retrograde is in Scorpio. It starts on October 2nd and it goes till the 16th. This is pairing up with the moon in Aquarius and trine sun in Libra. Legit, talk about something coming to light big time. I don't feel like this retrograde it doesn't feel like negative towards us. It feels more like shocking truths that come true. And you're like, holy shit. You know, one of those things. That's what this feels like. So let's see what this is all about. Did you see that? It was like, I want to go out. No, I don't. Okay, we have the card of hope. I'm going to look at the book real quick. I'll pause a video so that we can look it up. I thought this was a really cute prayer, so I decided I wanted to use it. First is associated with the heart chakra. So I know there's an activation in your heart chakra. Let me put this over here. In your heart chakra when we, in the month of October, Aquarius. But secondly, it says, this is from Albert Einstein. It says, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and forgets the gift. Okay? And then in the bottom it says, may I always have the wisdom and clarity to listen to the divine guidance and intuition within me. I feel like this is very interesting just because October feels like finally getting it. This makes sense because Pluto is going to come out of retrograde finally in October for you. But it feels like you've been getting hits over and over and over and over again about things that are ending, things that are moving forward, things that are changing, things that are expanding in your reality. And there's been like a resistance because rationally speaking, that doesn't make any kind of sense, right? So using a lot your masculine energy and forgetting about your feminine energy, and we need to be at the balance of the two. And so the awakening of hope for the month of October is kind of like you can't help but see the truth that's around you. And then finally getting that confirmation that your intuition has been trying to give you for a long time. So it's like, it feels like a great awakening, that Mercury retrograde. And like I said, it just feels like a lot of revelations that are going to shift everyone really. The second thing is October 6th. There's a full moon in the sign of Aries. Mercury enters Scorpio until the 29th. So you have to keep in mind that this Mercury retrograde is being strongly activated by the energy of like dominance, Emperor energy, Aries. And so this, I can tell you that this moon feels very, I want to say fighty, right? Where it's all about conflicts and confrontations and strong energy. Very, very strong magic and backfire kind of energy too, because we're in the middle of a retrograde for that. So let's see how that's going to affect you. Aquarius, with like you guys, I feel myself kind of like pausing before saying something. Oh, I got this for I think I got this for Spanish Pisces. It's the altar, a sacred devotion, a worship skin, deep rising from ashes, the waters your kin. And it's talking about connecting to your ancestors. So spirit is actually the energy of water. Spirit is the energy of water. And so it is saying that you should kind of take that moment to connect to your spirit. And again, this is again talking about connecting to spirit, connecting to yourself, connecting to your intuition. It's losing that strong logical mind and allowing the spiritual mind to come through. So it's talking to about reconnecting to, now there's 4 candlesticks here. So it feels like reconnecting to the temple of your spirit. Next thing is Venus entering Libra on the 13th. The thing that's important about this day is that finally Pluto will not be retrograde anymore in the sign of Aquarius. It will go direct. And you have to remember that direct energy on and off until 2042. So this is like forever, right? And this is like a clearing of the lies, of the distortion that's been in your mind. These cards are more like visual. They're showing you something so that you can understand something. Oh, I have them upside down. This looks like the Temperance energy or the Star card. Let me show it to you. And now I'm going to pull the book so that I can tell you exactly what it means. So the card's called Tlaloc. Okay, it's called Tlaloc, and it says, pay attention and weigh the forces you wish to put into play, because you are like the water. Again, the water reference, like spirit. If it can irritate, but in excess, it can cause floods. Oh, it can irrigate, but in excess, it can cause floods, and be absence in absence, it can cause drought. So, it's talking, that's why I told you it felt like temperance, because it's talking about knowing how to balance that out. So the reading is kind of telling you that you need to reconnect to your spirit and your intuition because you've been disconnected from it for a while. It's talking about you've been getting subtle signs, visions, dreams, insight that is supposed to help you see things how they should be instead of how they are. You've been pushing that and squashing that, and that is creating an energy of drought in your life. So this can be where you're feeling sad, depressed, anxious, like disconnected somehow, like there's something missing inside of you. And it's because you're omitting the spirit that needs to live within you. And then and vice versa. If you're taking too much time focusing just on spirit, you're drowning yourself in the voices that you're hearing and all the mental creations that are coming through because you're too much in spirit. So it's knowing how to create a healthy balance. But because the first couple of cards sounds like you've been drowning out your spirit, like your intuition, and kind of not paying attention to it, which is crazy because you're Aquarius and you have a lot to do with the energy of water. Though you're not the energy of water, you're always depicted as the Star card, the woman that's inside the water carrier. That's like one of your logos. And so you are not a water sign, you're an air sign, but you are very much connected to the energy of water. And so if we're thinking about that, that is like you're using your mind, that's why the air, to connect to spirit. And that connection is super important because you're receiving nuances that will be changing the world, because you're supposed to be the salt of the world, something different. That's why you depict yourself as the star, Aquarius. And so as I'm looking at this card, it feels like you've been in drought for a long time because you've been ignoring your spirit. You've been ignoring that guidance. That's not for everybody. Some of you guys are overdoing it, and it's causing like a total flood. And so it's knowing how to keep that happy medium so that you can come back to center in yourself and awaken the hope, the light, the spark that used to be inside of you very strong. And right now it's either drowned out because you're having too much, or it's drying out because you're not having enough. Okay. And so, but because of the first couple of cards, I feel like somebody's really not been just connecting correctly to their spirit. Okay. And the last thing that we're going to look into, yes, is the new moon in Libra. That will be October 21st. The interesting about things, so it's all about talking about balancing and judgment and justice, right? But it has a square, and the square for me are walls, right? The wall is in Jupiter and Cancer. You're going to see clearly what has been stopping you from this connection, very clearly. And once you realize that, you're going to be called to take action to free yourself. All right. So tell me how this is. What the hell? Of Corley. What the hell? I got 3 of them. All right. The I just need a moment for this. You got creature from the Black Lagoon, and what is it? Water. It's telling you um, you're going to have to go into your spirit, because you're going to realize that there is like some kind of, it can be a dark ancestor. Sometimes we have families and things that we are connected to from like previous lives, or from what our family agreed to, or whatever, that are dark entities that are attached to our lineage. And that has been blocking and obscuring our view of the future. That's possible. But sometimes they're wounds from us growing up, lack mentality, abuse, etc., that are obscuring our intuition. That's possible. The next thing is suspicion, invasion of the body snatchers. Definitely, I feel like you guys have some kind of attachment. Very not bueno. Okay. And then the third one is hunger. Night of the Living Dead. It does feel like something. It feels like a dead person, and so it feels like a haunting, actually. So it can be generational, but your intuition has been obscured because of the fact that there is some kind of spiritual attachment. So I would recommend some kind of spiritual healings, um, it, like psychological healing too, because sometimes that really affects your mind, especially since you're a water sign. I mean, an air sign. The entity that you have attached to you actually causes people to be suspicious of you, or you suspicious of a lot of people. So everybody is a narcissist, everybody is an evil person, or people see you that way, and it's because of an attachment you have. Let's see with tarot what we got to tell you. Look, this card is the Two of Pentacles, and it's talking about finding balance. And in this, it feels very much like the Wheel of Fortune. So your fortune is 100% a reflection of your internal balance. And your internal balance has a lot to do with your mind, air, and your connection to spirit, water. You need to learn how to balance that out if you want to have balance in your finances. Then we have the Empress card. So definitely your ability to create, your ability to manifest, and your ability to feel abundant has a lot to do with this balance that you have to create. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles, and you're going to have to wait for what you want to create, for what you want to manifest in your life, until you find that balance. But that is, once you start feeling this balance coming into your life, you know you're doing the right thing. So keep doing that. Okay. We have the One of Swords, and it's talking about clarity of beliefs. And this is literally knowing the truth will set you free. This is the Seven of Wands, and this is having to fight with, I want to say, the voices in your head. And then we have the Six of Cups, which is talking about your childhood self. So this thing, whatever I'm talking about that's attached to you, and it feels like an energetic attachment. Okay. It feels inherited because we've seen a lot, the ancestors here. I don't know if your family was involved with, you know, dark stuff, or in some along the lines agreed to some kind of spiritual connection, and that literally it connects to you in such a way that you no longer have full control of what you think, what you speak, whatever. And this is a really big thing. Like I've seen this. I've even seen it in my counseling career, right? And so um it's a need to do the work either in the 3D world, but especially in the spiritual world, because this is talking about spiritual. Um to find what it is, to heal the wound and to break the contract so that you can be free. And this is something that you've been attached to since childhood. Look at the bottom of the deck, literally says Eight of Cups. Move on. They want you to move away from this. Master your heart, because right now, this is the Devil card. Somebody else controls your heart. And that is what needs to, this is the Judgment card. That is the spark that needs to be cleared out of you. Teach. This is the Hierophant, and literally telling you that it's based on a belief system that you have accepted. It's just, and the biggest thing that I have to tell you is these energetic attachments, right? They no longer look like they do on TV. They no longer look like witchcraft like before, right? They look like tradition. This is just what our family does. This is just the we're just part of this religion, and this is what we do. This is something that our family does every year, blah blah blah. And it's like it's skewed in so much routine and religion that you have no idea it's some kind of contract or agreement. It feels very, I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but Heredity. It was really messed up, that movie, but it's kind of like this, like something connected to tradition. One person actually knew what was it all about, and then everybody else just did what was expected, and then ended up like totally giving like their kids up to some kind of cult. So I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening with you, but that just came to mind, and I think that it's important to call it out there. It it might look like taking out the garbage a specific way every single day, but it's actually like some way of connecting to this thing. So yeah, I hope you guys understand. I'll see you next time.